herself or herself in, there is always, always hope. So Ishmael, as a survivor of the 1994 genocide in Rwanda, and from one survivor to another, it is with great honor that I present to you tonight with this year's MCW Leadership Award.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, now that I've received the standing ovation, I don't need to say anything anymore. I think I do want to thank Jacqueline for the wonderful introduction. And I also want to thank MCW for this award. And I've had the opportunity to meet with, I would call him Edward because my British background would not allow me to call him Eddie, which I just did. But Edward and I met briefly the first time, and then secondly we met at Richard Branson's Island. We were having some discussions about philanthropy and the next phase of it and all of these things. And we began to speak about a possible collaboration to do some work in Sierra Leone, where I'd already been a number of times and where they've been doing work. And for me, receiving such an award, really, it's just a way to continue to inspire me to do the things that I would continue to do with or without such awards. And the reason for that is very simple, is that I am somebody who's coming from a country that didn't always have a civil war, but because of the civil war, it changed the nature of our country, particularly the youth in the country. The ambassador from Sierra Leone and I were just discussing this. We need to provide opportunities for young people wherever in the world. Otherwise, they will make choices that are not going to be beneficial to all of us, our communities, nationally, and eventually internationally. So I want to make sure that that doesn't happen because I've been a young person who found myself in such a situation where it was a choiceless situation, so I chose violence. And I do not want that to happen to any other person at all, anywhere in the world. So I dedicate myself and my life to help provide the opportunities that were provided for me to allow me to transform my life, to become what I had become. I'm not no different from anybody who is either in Tanzania, in Zambia, in Sierra Leone. The only difference between myself and them is that I gained certain opportunities to be able to go to school, to apply myself, and to use my intelligence in a positive way. Every young person, I believe, if these things are given to them, will be able to make those choices and those decisions and be also involved in their own world. I'll tell you a brief story, and then I'll be very quick. I go back home to Sierra Leone a lot, where we no longer have a civil war. The war ended many years ago. And one time I was in Sierra Leone, and we had landed. We took some few American artists to Sierra Leone to make a documentary. We arrived. And there are some young boys standing in the corner on the street in Shaka Stevens, where there's a booming business area. And they called us over because they had realized that we were all from the United States and we had phones that were locked. American phones are locked. When you travel abroad, you cannot use them. These few young men, one of them particularly, called us over and asked me to give him my phone in one of our local languages, and I did. And he pressed a few buttons and he opened the phone so that I could actually use it. And then he went ahead to say to me, well, now that I've opened this phone for you and you know that I can do it, I can open the rest of your colleagues' phone, which is about 7 people, for this price. Now, I did not even have to negotiate because I felt here's a young man standing in this corner who had technology and business skills. But he can only use it to survive for a few leones that he will get every day. Now, if somebody gives that young person an opportunity or provide a space for them to improve that talent, that skill, they become self-sufficient. They're able to actually be able to take care of themselves and the people who rely on them in that community. So when I saw that, it really moved me tremendously. Hence, I began to go back quite often. I go back to my home to try and help young people to do this kind of thing so that we can actually help them to do these things on a more sustainable level. Now, one last thing that I will say, and this comes from a quote from a friend of mine who's actually a U.S. Marine and just a new author who wrote a book. And there's a quote from his book that I think will resonate, hopefully will resonate with all of us, which is that the only difference, I believe, between some of us who have the opportunity to live in a place like here is that, we have opportunities. And the quote from his book says, talents are universal, opportunities are not. And the difference we can make is to provide people opportunities so that they can actually access those talents that we have all over the world. So when you see somebody from Sierra Leone, when you see somebody from any other part of the world where there are difficulties, they can actually change your mindset about how you think about the resilience of young people that Jacqueline mentioned, but also the incredible talent that it is in this part of the world, on this African continent. Oftentimes, I think as a continent, we're being misrepresented because mostly what is presented about us is the negative aspects of some of the things that happen, but not the positive, which is that people have incredible amount of courage and resilience and strength, and are just waiting to put some of those talents they have to use. So I'm incredibly thankful for what the work that MCW is doing, and I hope I'll collaborate with them. And I hope that we'll be able to give another leadership award to some other young person from actually some of these places that MCW is working at another time, besides me, who now lives here in New York. Thank you very much.
Ishmael, what a inspiring story. Congratulations on your receiving the award. But as you noted, the award is sort of a one step in a very rich life that you have led. Like Jacqueline, one wouldn't have chosen the experiences that you had to get you to be a recipient of this award tonight, but life gave you what it gave you, and you have turned it into something very beneficial. So it's heartwarming to see you receive this award, and congratulations again to Ishmael. Before I bring Eddie up here to give you some final remarks, I want to recognize the Spencer family, who are major supporters of the organization. Where are the Spencers? There you go. Thank you very much for your support of this evening. Let's bring Eddie up to sum up what's happened tonight. Obviously, a lot of tonight is to raise some money for MCW, and we have done that very successfully. Eddie's going to come up and tell you a little bit more about how it's gone tonight and give you some final comments, I think. Right, Eddie? Ladies and gentlemen, Edward Bergman.
Thank you so much, Ali, and thank you everyone for joining us. We're on time, which is wonderful, and this is something that we try to do every year with MCW. We want to thank everyone for coming once again, and I'm supposed to announce the total that we've raised tonight. While that number is brought up, because I don't have it, we can have the 50-50 raffle up. And in thinking of perhaps we can ask. We all heard this ghost noise tonight, and perhaps we can ask the gentleman who's been the ghost noise to come up and pick the 50-50. Is Bob Posnerich in the room? Is 50-50 ready? There we go. We want to thank Bob and his team for doing such an incredible job with the creative work, and Bob doesn't know I'm calling him up to do this, so I don't know. I hope he's in the room, because I wanted to recognize him and ask him to pick the 50-50. While we're doing that, where's Bob? Oh, the total raised. Okay, so the total raised this evening, including, there was $22,000 raised at the silent auction, and if we add that to the total raised tonight, we've raised over $700,000. That's the biggest, and I think the seven goes along with the 7th year and a gala dinner. So next year, It's going to get tough. But we're going to need a bigger room, I think. But for next year, our goal, I guess, will be 8. So, but thank you. Thank you so much for all those who contributed, for everyone in the room. Really, the funds we raise go to our programs, and you saw the programs tonight, and we really want to thank everyone. And every dollar goes a long way. And obviously, for MCW, it's a huge amount of funds, and this is the major funds we raise for the year. So Bob is the ghost.
Son of a gun, I won. And the winning number, Edward.
Well, why don't you come up and this is the voice you've heard.
And don't forget, you have time to bid. The winning number is 376-043-7. We have a winner.
Congratulations. Thank you. Sorry. Wait, say it again, Bob. Oh, 376-0437. You got it. Well, you want to say it? Well, it's been generously contributed back to the association, and we thank you so much for that. That's very kind. I think last year's winner was sitting at this table, and this year's winner's at this table. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So at this time, we'd like to invite back Kanda, who's gonna, he's gonna be preparing, and in just a short bit, we're gonna. He's agreed to provide us with one more inspirational song, and we'll hear it shortly from Kanda as we move everything to the side. So thank you so much, and a big round of applause for our MC this evening, Ali Velshi.
Tous les mondes tous les mondes a good evening. Thank you. Thank you, girls. Thank you.